It happens in a heartbeat. You're walking down a hallway, a new hallway, in a building you've never been to before. But then it washes over you. A feeling so overwhelming, so certain, it stops you in your tracks. You've been here before, and for a second, you know what happens next. You know how the light from the window hits that scuff mark on the floor. You know the exact grain of the wood on the door at the very end of the hall. But this isn't a memory. You can't place it. There's no story attached, no actual recollection of a past visit. It's something else. A sensation that's both deeply familiar and completely alien all at once. It's an echo from a place you can't quite name. What if it's not just a memory? What if it isn't some trick of the mind or a misfiring synapse? What if it's a crack in the code of your reality? A system warning, telling you that the script of your life just leaked from a dream you don't even remember having. Before we go any further, let's get the official story out of the way. For over a century, scientists have had a neat and tidy name for it. Déjà vu, French for already seen. They'll tell you it's just a delay in the brain, a misfire, a harmless glitch. They'll point to your temporal lobe, which processes memories and familiarity, and say its signals got desynchronized. A simple filing error where your brain flags a new moment as an old memory. This creates a conflict between a feeling of familiarity and the rational knowledge that it's impossible. It's an explanation that makes sense on paper, but it doesn't explain that sudden, cold dread that washes over you. It doesn't explain why your chest tightens, or why it feels less like a random misfire and more like a revelation. So, what if we've been looking at this the wrong way? What if the feeling isn't the error, but a sign of something much deeper? This brings us to a more speculative, and honestly, far more fascinating idea. The dream leak. Lots of people who experience déjà vu report that the sensation itself feels dreamlike. And if you ask them where the feeling might come from, many will guess it's from a dream they can't remember. This has led to the concept of déjà rêvé, which literally means already dreamed. The theory suggests our brains aren't just resting at night, they're actively simulating and exploring potential future scenarios. In the depths of your subconscious, your mind runs countless dream rehearsals, piecing together fragments of your thoughts, fears, and hopes into narratives. You live out entire scenes and moments, most of which you completely forget by the time your alarm goes off. But they're not gone. They're stored as faint traces in your neural pathways. Then, one day, you walk down that hallway. The light, the scuff mark, the door, it all aligns perfectly with a forgotten dream fragment. Your waking reality suddenly triggers that subconscious memory. Your conscious mind has no idea where this came from, but a deeper part of you recognizes the scene. It's not a memory of a past event. It's recognizing a pre-rendered scene from the simulation you ran last night. It feels like a prediction because, in a way, it is. Your subconscious already lived this moment. This would explain why the feeling is so specific, yet so untraceable. You can't recall the source because the source was a dream you were never meant to remember. The script just leaked.
But here's the part that should worry you. Once you start looking at these moments as leaks instead of errors, the world starts to look a little different. And you notice that not all leaks are the same. The classic déjà vu is just one type. Sometimes it doesn't stop at a feeling. There's a far more intense version called déjà vécu, which means already lived. This isn't just a fleeting image. This is the overwhelming certainty that you are reliving an entire sequence, the The words people are about to say, the gestures they're about to make, even the thoughts in your own head. It feels less like watching a replay and more like you've been dropped back into a scene from your life, forced to act it out again. This is where that leaked script feeling is most powerful. You feel like an actor on stage who suddenly remembers their lines, and everyone else's too. And sometimes it breaks the other way. Then there's the inverse, a glitch that's arguably even more disturbing. Jamais vu, French for never seen. This is when something you know intimately, the face of a loved one, your own handwriting, a word you've said 1,000 times, suddenly feels completely alien. It's like the texture files in a video game failed to load, leaving a blank, meaningless space where something familiar should be. If déjà vu is a memory that shouldn't be there, jamais vu is the absence of a memory that should. It's just another kind of system error, another sign that the reality we perceive is a fragile construct that can stutter and fail. These aren't just quirks, they're different alerts from the same system. Each one is a different kind of crack in the facade. For most of us, these experiences last a few seconds before reality snaps back into place. But what happens when it doesn't? When the glitch lingers? When the feeling of déjà vécu stretches from a moment into a minute, or even longer? This is when the experience shifts from a curious anomaly to a genuine system warning. People who experience these prolonged episodes describe a cascade of alarms, a sudden spike in heart rate, a feeling that the air has grown thin, a creeping sense of dread or panic. Neurologically, this is linked to arousal in the temporal lobe, the same area involved in certain types of epileptic seizures. It's the brain's hardware struggling to reconcile a profound conflict between the present moment and an overpowering false memory of it. The environment itself seems to break down. You might see people's movements as looping, or hear conversations slightly out of sync, like they're waiting for you to catch up. It's as if the program is lagging, struggling to re-render the scene, and you're witnessing it in real time. In these moments, you can feel trapped in a loop, living the same few seconds over and over. This is your system's dashboard, flashing red. It's telling you that you're stuck, reinforcing the glitch by just passively observing it. But there might be a way out. Research and anecdotal reports point to a surprising method for breaking the cycle. You have to challenge the script. If you feel compelled to turn left, force yourself to turn right. If you know what someone is about to say, interrupt them with a totally random question. If you're standing still, start walking. You have to introduce a new, unscripted action. This yanks your brain out of its passive playback mode and into active engagement. In essence, you're forcing a system reboot. By deviating from the path you feel you've already walked, you break the loop and remind the system and yourself that you aren't just an actor reading a script. You have agency. We're told these are harmless glitches, neurological noise to be ignored. But what if they're not? What if they are signals, cracks in the simulation that let you glimpse the code running underneath? They feel like a conflict between your conscious mind and a deeper knowledge that comes from somewhere else, maybe from a dream of the future you weren't supposed to remember. These aren't just passive moments, they are a prompt from the system, a system that is asking if you're still paying attention. So the next time it happens, that wave of familiarity in a place you've never been, don't brush it off. Acknowledge the cold, profound strangeness of it. Because maybe the glitches aren't the problem. Maybe they're a symptom that the simulation itself is starting to fray at the edges. The real question is, what happens when it tears completely? So next time it happens, that sudden wave of familiarity, don't ignore it. Don't just stand there. Do something different. Break the moment. Because if you don't, you're not noticing a glitch. You're following a script. And the worst part is, it already knows what you're going to do next. What's the most vivid glitch in the matrix you've ever experienced? Share your story in the comments. We need to compare notes.